Hello, welcome to Paygevity, a new evolution in supply chain payments. Paygevity's innovative fintech model offers buyers free off-balance sheet financing that extends payables days on hand, while strengthening the supply chain by promptly paying vendors. Let's take an invoice through Paygevity's system to highlight the ease and efficiency of Paygevity's PromptPay technology. When buyers sign up with Paygevity, Paygevity offers them the opportunity to invite their selected vendors to submit invoices for PromptPay. Selected vendors who register to use PromptPay receive a user ID and password that access their dedicated vendor portal for the buyer that invited them. This sample vendor, Burt's Bees, logs on to reach their dedicated portal for their buyer, Walmart. For a nominal discount on each invoice, Paygevity offers vendors access to the PromptPay system with no credit check, no personal guarantee, no 3-year historical audit, no membership fees, and no ongoing obligation. Vendors may log on anytime to submit an invoice for PromptPay and receive payment 24 to 48 hours after the buyer approves the invoice. To generate a new invoice for PromptPay, the vendor simply clicks to enter the invoice details. Here we enter the invoice number, the purchase order number, the invoice date, and the invoice amount. The Paygevity system offers the flexibility to submit both current and past invoices, giving vendors the option to enter outstanding invoices if they can no longer afford to wait for payment. Finally, we enter the conventional due date. This reflects the vendor's standard payment terms. We'll set it at net 30, even though the vendor will be promptly paid on this invoice 24 to 48 hours after the buyer approves it. In addition to including a comment to the buyer, the Paygevity portal also allows vendors to upload an itemized invoice and to attach any additional documents that the transaction requires. To include an invoice or other attachments, simply choose a file and click to attach. When the invoice is complete, the vendor may check the details, view the attachment, and see the negotiated discount. This discount, which Paygevity negotiates with the buyer, is deducted from the invoice amount as a one-time charged percentage that does not incur any additional costs or obligations. The discount is deducted from the invoice amount much like a processing company charges merchants a percentage to process payment. Because the negotiated discount is set in the user agreement between Paygevity and the buyer, and is based primarily on the buyer's cost of funds, each of the vendors participates on the same terms and receives the same discount for that buyer. Paygevity's innovative fintech model advances prompt payment to the vendor based on Paygevity's credit obligation with the buyer. In this way, Paygevity harnesses the strength of the buyer's credit to advance the vendor funds at a much lower discount than the vendor's credit might allow. Requesting PromptPay enters the invoice into the Paygevity system. There, a Paygevity specialist reviews the invoice, checks the attachment, and submits it to the buyer for approval. When the invoice has been submitted for approval, the buyer receives an email with a link to her dedicated buyer portal, where she may log in to view the invoice, open, print, or download the attachment, and approve payment. While approving payment authorizes Paygevity to disperse funds to the vendor 24 to 48 hours after approval, Paygevity offers buyers the no-cost option to defer their payment to Paygevity for 90 days, 120 days, or longer, based on the buyer's negotiated agreement with Paygevity. In addition to extending payables days on hand, Paygevity also offers buyers the opportunity to take advantage of revenue rebates that transform the payable department from a cost center to a revenue generator. Buyers who opt to profit from the revenue rebate pay less by paying early. Paygevity offers buyers the ability to export their Paygevity data to reports and to track their revenue rebate savings in real time. Once the buyer has approved payment, Paygevity holds the invoice for 24 to 48 hours. This grace period gives the buyer a chance to contact Paygevity with any last-minute concerns or corrections before the funds are released. Picking up here with an older invoice that has already completed the grace period, the Paygevity account specialist promptly makes payment by check or wire using the preferences and information stored on the vendor's profile. Once the payment has been made, the Paygevity account specialist notifies the vendor that their payment's on the way. The Paygevity PromptPay system is quick, simple, and secure. In addition to providing a platform for prompt payment, Paygevity offers users a convenient electronic alternative for submitting and paying invoices, easy, seamless ways to track their PromptPay transactions, and the safety of external cloud storage to back up conventional record keeping. Paygevity's PromptPay system also gives buyers new options for capturing the value of payables without straining their supply chain. A buyer looking to maximize revenue from cash on hand may find a better return paying early to take the revenue rebate, while a buyer looking to project a strong cash position in a quarterly report may opt to extend payables for the full period to day 90, 120, or longer. Paygevity's PromptPay technology provides both vendors and buyers a way to maximize their working capital while strengthening their relationship. To learn more, please contact your Paygevity representative.